Hello everybody, it's Tom again with another video for you, and this time it is to do with casinos. Match betting is obviously a risk-free way of making money from the bookmakers doing sports bets. However, if you want to make money each and every month, then you should really look towards getting into casino offers, and more specifically the low-risk casino offers. By doing these offers, you're going to need to know how to play casino games, and so for most of you, you may have never even gone on an online casino before. So in this video, I'm going to try and show you how to play the different casino games, slot machines, roulette and blackjack, and I'll just show you how they all work and what you do when you load them up and play them. So if you're ready, let's get cracking. Okay, so you can find our casino guide on our website at teamprofit.com simply by clicking under Reload Guides and the Reload Guides section. On here, you can uncheck all the boxes and just tick 6 casino, and then here you'll see the casino explained, and this will break down the 3 main games that we'll be using to play, which are slots, blackjack and roulette. Now in this section we're going to talk about the slots that you'll be using. Slots are obviously, well, you may not know, but slots are the most common type of game you'll be using for casino offers. That's purely because blackjack and roulette have a really low house edge. With blackjack, you're pretty much almost 50-50 with the house, and with roulette, you would be 50-50 if there wasn't the green zero. With slot machines, the house have a bigger edge, so you're going to lose more money in the long run. So that's why most of their promotions are aimed at slots. However, if we're using bonuses, they're still profitable for us, and we can still make money off them normally. So I'll just show you how to play slots. But firstly, what is a slot machine? It's just a random number generator. So you'll see here, this is a screenshot of Frankie Dettori's Magic 7, and it looks, you know, for some people it may look appealing. You see like all different numbers and flashing lights. It is literally just like rolling a dice. Don't get lured into any of this. It's just there to make you want to gamble, or to try and make you gamble more. So yeah, it's just remember at the end of the day, it's just a random number generator. So I'll show you the Frankie Dettori slot anyway to show you how it works. Okay, so I've just opened the Frankie Dettori's Magic 7 slot. This is quite a common slot that you'll see on a lot of websites. I don't know, it's just, I guess, a common slot. Any slot that you open will have sort of like the numbers down here. These are the lines you're betting on. There'll be loads of things in the middle. These are like the symbols. There'll be loads of numbers at the bottom. And I'll go through them all one by one and show you what each and every single one of them means. So the numbers down here are the lines. If I press them, you'll see it keeps changing, and more lines will be drawn on the slots. That basically means that I'm betting from left to right. So if I press 1, I'm betting on one line. So I need the symbols in the middle. I need them to line up in this middle row here. If I bet on 2 lines, which is this one here, then I'm betting on, obviously, the symbols going along this line and the symbols going along this line. 3 lines, as you can see, symbols along there. And then when you bet on 4, it goes a bit differently. So along there. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to match the same symbols with this 4 one along any of these lines. I believe it's 3 or more you need to get a win, so you need like 3 kings here, or 3 kings diagonally, or 3 kings across. So yeah, that's pretty much what a line is. When you're playing a slot, you always want to do the maximum. So on this one, I believe it's 25 lines, and you can adjust that down here. Every slot, or most slots, will have like a line adjustment, and you always want to play the maximum, because if you're doing like 5 lines and then you would have won like something that had gone like diagonal across here, but then you only bet on 5 lines, you didn't actually have that line itself, then yeah, you don't win any money. So always make sure you're doing maximum lines. So that's the lines covered. Another thing to mention is the symbols themselves. So if you see here, they're all different sort of values. There's a K, a Q, 10, J, and then all these other stuff. So normally when you play a slot machine, anything that's like a number, it's just got a different value price. If you get a couple of 10s in a row, you might win £1. If you get a couple of jacks in a row, it might be £1.50. Queens, it might be £2. Kings, it might be £2.50. And then you get onto like the symbols. These are normally like just bigger prizes. So the horseshoe might be like £5 win. And then you have like a bonus one. If you get a couple of these in a row, you might win a bonus. But generically speaking, it doesn't really matter what's on this screen here, because it is just a random number generator at the end of the day. All you're going to do is set how much you want to bet and just click spin. You actually don't really care what happens on here. Obviously you want to win as much as you can, or like not lose as much as you can when you got a bonus. However, this doesn't affect anything. Like, you're not putting any input into this whole area, but it's still good to know. So yeah, most slots will have like a bonus feature, With this one, it's if you get 2 or more of these on a line, then there'll be a bonus that's triggered, and then when in the bonus round, you'll be required to do something like click on a certain point of the screen. But yeah, it's pretty much how the lines work and how the wins work. If you look at the bottom, you'll see a couple of things: bet per line, win, and total bet. So win is obviously how much you've won on your last spin, and then the bet per line is the thing that catches a lot of people out. So you need to make sure you check this before you do any spinning whatsoever. Here it says 10p. So it's obviously quite easy to assume you're betting 10p when you click the spin button, but you're not. You're actually betting £2.50 every spin. That's because there is 25 lines and you're betting 10p per line. So I'm betting 10p on this line here, I'm betting 10p on this line here, I'm betting 10p on this line here, and all 25 lines, that'd be a £2.50 spin. I have seen it before where somebody's lost a few £100 because they thought they were doing like £2.50 a line and they're actually doing £25 a line. So sorry, £2.50 spins, but they're actually doing £25 spins. So just make sure whenever you're doing any slot offer, normally we do the minimum lines and the minimum amount per line anyway, which is 1p on this one, and just make sure your total bet is what you want it to be. So at the moment, the smallest stake I can do on the slot at the maximum lines is 25p. Always make sure the lines are maximum, and always make sure the bet per line is minimum if possible, because if you're doing, I don't know, 10 bets at 25p, you've got more chance of recovering some of your money than if you just do 1 bet at £2.50, because you could just lose that £2.50 in one spin. So it's always best to do the minimum bet possible, but with maximum lines. So yeah, other than that, if you were to do 10 spins, most slots have an auto spin feature. On this one, oh yeah, there's an auto play there. You just simply click 10 spins. It asks you how much you want to stop on if you lose overall. I always just set it at like 99999 or what my balance is, so 1680. And then yep, you just quickly confirm, and that will just start spinning for me automatically. I can just sit back and not do anything, and if you see the slot, it will count down how many spins I've got left. So I've got 8 left, and it's just doing 25p spins for me. I could just stop that. I could just click manually and click spin, but obviously that's when people get enticed into the slot and start losing their money when they're chasing their losses and they're like clicking, like, oh, I just had a big win a minute ago, I want to carry on clicking spin and win more. So yeah, just make sure that you put auto spin on. And actually, I'll show you the best way of playing an online slot. This is the optimal strategy I find whenever I'm doing a slot. So I'll simply come on the slot machine, I'll mute the slot machine so there's no sound, because if there's sound then you can get engrossed into it and want to gamble. I'll go on autoplay. So let's say I've got 50 spins to do. I'll put in how much I want to stop on if I lose. So I'll just put £10 for now. Click confirm. Let the autoplay happen. Minimize the screen because you don't want to be watching it. And then just sit back and relax. And that's how you play slot machines. Really, really simple. Don't watch it, just leave the room. Well, you don't have to leave the room, but you can normally minimize it like this, like click the minimize button. However, sometimes the slot will stop on some providers, not entirely sure why, so you have to actually have the screen itself open. So if that happens, yeah, you just make it small and just pop it into your corner of your screen and carry on doing what you were doing. And yeah, that's pretty much it for slot machines. So if there's any questions on that, then please do leave a comment in the video for the slots. The second most popular game for wagering bonuses in the casino is Blackjack. Obviously slot machines are the main one, as the casinos pile loads of offers on slots, but in an ideal world, if we could, we'd wager all of our bonuses on Blackjack, as the house edge is so small and we've got the best chance of winning in comparison to slots and roulette. However, the casinos know this, and they know that Blackjack's a really good game for using when wagering, so they normally make the wagering requirements higher if you were to use Blackjack. If you read their terms and conditions on most of the offers, it will say that if you've got £10 to wager, then and you go on a slot machine, then you only have to wager £10. But then if you took that to Blackjack, you'd have to wager maybe 5 times that, so like £50. They do this to stop people from playing Blackjack. However, there are a lot of promotions that still do allow Blackjack, and so obviously going to make a guide on how to play it for you. Some of you may have heard of Blackjack being referred to as Pontoon or 21. It's obviously one of the most common games on films like James Bond and things like that. one of them glamorous casino games that people play. Online is pretty much the same as you'd see in a casino. You get dealt 2 cards, the dealer gets 2 cards. If you get 21 or below and you beat the dealer's hand, then you win. If you go over 21, you bust, and if the dealer beats you, the dealer wins. So this is what a standard blackjack table will look like. Most websites are a minimum bet of £1. You can find some that are 50p. I believe this one's £1. Yeah, minimum bet not reached. So I'll do a £1 bet there. As you can see, I put a quid down. I get to deal. The dealer will give me 2 cards, and the dealer will take 1 card themselves. They've actually got 2, but I can only see 1 of them. And then yeah, you just get to play blackjack. So my aim here is to get to 21 and not go over it. I've obviously got 14 here, so I need a 7 or below. So I'll just press the hit button, and there we go. I've got 19 now. So I get the choice to hit or stand. Hitting just basically means I want another card. Standing just means that I don't want another card. So here I'm going to stand, and you just have to hope. So the dealer's got 20, and I lost that hand, unfortunately. Each card has its own value. So 2 through to 10, a 2 is worth 2 points. A 2 is worth 2, 3 is worth 3, 4 is worth 4, all the way up to 10. And then a jack, a queen, and a king, so the 3 face cards are all worth 10 as well. So you've got 10, jack, queen, king, all worth 10. And an ace is worth 1 or 11. You can decide what you want it to be worth. If you have an ace and a king, that'll obviously be 21 or 11, but it would be 21 automatically. If you bust with an ace in your hand, then the ace is 11, then it'll automatically drop to 1. So if you've got, I don't know, an ace and a 9 and a 2, then that would be 11 plus 11, which would be 22. So then the ace then goes down to 1. So it'll actually be a 9 plus a 2 plus an ace is a 1, so that'd be 12. So yeah, it's really easy to count, obviously. Every card is its own. Okay, so before I actually go through a hand of blackjack, I'll just show you our blackjack guide, because we have a guide on how to play it, but we also have a separate guide showing you like the best strategy to use when you're playing online. So this is on the same page that we were on before. If you just go down to blackjack, you'll see here it says click here for our blackjack strategy. This will just open another page with a few tables on, and this will show you what to do for each hand that you have. So if you've got like 15 and the dealer's got a 5, it will tell you whether you should take a card or not take a card, and so on. And there's a couple of tables, and there's a whole video explaining it as well. But it just goes through the main things. So if I scroll back down here, you'll see the options that you can choose when you're playing blackjack. So you can double, you can hit, you can stand, you can split, or you can take insurance. So I'll just go through what they mean. A double is basically where you are offered a 9, 10 or 11, and you can put in double your stake. So if I've got £1 on blackjack and I get dealt a 9, 10 or 11, I can then put another £1 in, making my total bet now £2, and they'll give me 1 more card, just the 1 though. So yeah, it's just really good if you've got 9, 10 or 11, you put double your money in and hopefully get a 10, because 10 is the most common card in the deck, obviously, because it's any 10, jack, queen or king. Hit just means to take a card, hit me, twist, or whatever you call it. That's all that is, take another card. If you hit and you go over 22, then obviously you bust, meaning that your hand's dead and the casino wins your money. Stand is just where you don't want any more cards. So you might be close to 21, you might be on like 15 or 16, you don't want to risk taking another card because you're scared you might bust. That's all that stand means. A split is when you get a pair in your hand. So 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, any pair whatsoever, even aces, you can split your hands. So what that means is it's quite similar to double. So if I got a £1 bet down, I'll now put another £1 down, meaning that my total stake's £2. But then my 2 cards will move apart and I'll play 2 separate hands. So if I've got a 3 and a 3 and I split, I've now got a 3 over here and a 3 over here. I'll get dealt another card on that 3, another card on that 3, and I play 2 hands separately as if they were 1 on their own. So that's all a split is. And then insurance is just when the dealer has an ace and you can choose to just basically like kind of surrender your hand, or it's like a side bet. You don't surrender your hand. It's a side bet. If the dealer has got blackjack, you're like betting for that to happen. I would just say never take insurance, because the odds are just against you and it's just generally a bad thing to do. So yep, that's pretty much it. So if I go and play a hand, you'll see here it's just really simple. Most websites are £1 minimum bet. So I'll try and put 50p on, it wouldn't let me, so I'll just put £1 on. Ignore these 2 boxes here, you just place it in the main box. These are little side bets that are really bad value as well. Whenever you're playing blackjack, you just place it in the main box. So £1, deal to hand, and I get 2 cards, dealer gets 1. So at the moment I've got 20, dealer's got 7. Obviously if you've got 20, that's really close to 21, so you don't want to take any more cards. So I'd stand at this point. Because it's essentially 10-10, I can actually split. You shouldn't split on 20, you'll see in the guide, but I'll show you just for this reason. As you can see, it's put another £1 down, so now I've got 2 separate hands and I can play them both separately. So at the moment I'm playing this 13 hand, so I can hit here and take a card if I want to. So now I'm on 15 and I can hit again, 20, and then I can just stand because I've taken enough cards. And then here, I'm just going to stand obviously because it's 20, and then you just hope the dealer doesn't have as much. So there you go. Beat the dealer, won 2 quid off the casino, absolutely loving life. So yeah, just to recap, there is a guide on exactly what to do on our Blackjack Strategy. And you can actually find this as well just by going on our reload guide section, just as you did to find the casino guides. And go on number 6, which is casino, and then you'll see Blackjack Strategy here, and it will just explain what to do in every situation. Just bear in mind that the guide is on about using bonuses, so it's not telling you how to make money playing blackjack, because you can't make money playing it online. The odds are against you. It's showing you how to minimize your losses. So if you get a bonus, basically how to cash out the most amount of the bonus. But yeah, as with the slot machines, if you have any questions on how to play blackjack or anything, then please do leave a comment. The final game we're going to talk about is roulette, which is perhaps the most high-profile casino game, as it's absolutely everywhere in all of the casinos, probably even more high-profile than blackjack. However, we won't be using it as much just because there's not as many roulette offers, but it's still good to know how to play because there will be some that you'll be using it on. And it's just as good because you just literally have to place a bet and do nothing else. With blackjack, you've got to read the table and see what to do with what hand you've got and what hand the dealer's got. And with slot machines, you've got to like set auto play and just monitor it. With roulette, you can literally just click spin, 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 spin. You don't have to do anything else. So yeah, just a really good game to use. However, we won't be using it much. Anyway, so I've opened up a roulette wheel here. That's explaining, the roulette wheel's here. As always with any casino game, first thing you do is turn the sound off because you don't want to enjoy their music. I mean, if you listen to that, it's just trying to get you relaxed and gamble more, so just make sure you turn it off. And then, we'll just go through what the wheel actually means, what each section means, on the wheel, and what it pays out. Okay, so if you see over here, you've got the numbers in the middle. That is, if the wheel lands on your number, obviously you win. You've got these sort of columns here, these columns here, and these rows here. And then these sort of ones here, the red and black, odd and even, 1 to 18, 19 to 36. They all do pretty much what they say on the tin. So if you bet on any of these thirds, it's covering these numbers all here. So that's 1 through to 12, that's 13 through to 24, and that's 25 through to 36. If you bet £1, you win £3, so it's 3 times your money. If you bet on any of these columns, it's covering all the numbers in that column there. Same with this one, and same with this one. If you bet on 1 to 18, that's covering numbers 1 to 18. Even's covering all the even numbers. Black's covering all the black numbers. Red's covering all the red numbers, and so on. And then also you've got like the 0 up here. So the 0 is just a number, but it's not covered by any of the outside bets. It's just a number on its own that you have to bet on it to win if you want to win. Just one thing to mention as well, when you are playing the roulette offers, make sure you're using European roulettes. You might see some that have a 0 there, and then there'll be a double 0 next to it. It's just an extra thing in the casinos, an extra part of the casino's edge. Make sure you're playing the one with just the 1 0, because it could, if it lands on a double 0, then that's a game that you probably wouldn't have lost, but because you're playing with an extra double 0, you've lost. But yeah, if you go on our casino guide, it will just run down through the payouts of each of those sections I just showed you, but you don't really need to know any of that. All you need to know is red or black. If you are doing an offer, you'll literally be betting on red or black, and it's just double your money, which I'm sure everybody is aware of. One thing to mention though is that if you are doing a casino offer and you start covering the whole table, so if I start doing like this, if I cover like that, like all of these, that's not allowed by the casinos. You're not allowed to cover sometimes more than 60% of the table, which means you can't cover, I don't know, red and black just to get free wagering. Obviously, if it lands on 0, you lose all your bets. But some people will just do like bets on red and black and just keep spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning until they've completed the wagering. The casino will know this, and they'll just probably confiscate the money. So make sure you're just literally doing like one bet on black, spin, another bet on black, spin, and just keep doing that. But yeah, it's a really easy game to play. If you do have any questions, then obviously do ask. But I'm sure it's very self-explanatory, especially if you're just betting on red or black. So yeah, that's pretty much it. They're the 3 most common casino games. So we've got slot machines, blackjack, and roulette. Just one thing to mention with them as well is that if you are doing an offer, you're not always going to win. You might lose sometimes. It's a thing called variance. Whenever we post an offer, it is profitable in the long run. So, you know, if it's worth £5, that means if you did that offer 100 times, you'd make £5 on average each time, so you'd be up about 500 quid on average. It is statistics, so you're not going to make profit every time. You might lose a few, but then hopefully your wins should outweigh your losses. So yeah, when you are doing an offer and you do lose, just turn it off, accept that you've lost, and come back and do another offer another time. Don't start chasing your losses, because that's when you get into trouble, especially when you're playing roulette and blackjack, because it's really, really easy to just keep doing more hands. We've got a whole other video on this and a whole section on how to avoid gambling. So if you do want to check them out, then I'll leave the link in the description for you. And obviously, if you found the video helpful, then please do drop us a like and subscribe to us as well, because we've got loads more guides coming out that you'll definitely find useful. Okay, thank you very much.